Hello everyone, welcome to the outside. Oh man, I have a bit of a channeled message today, but before we get into it, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my day. Hang out a little bit, right? This is, I'm sure, not my best angle. I cannot see the front of my phone at all, so I have absolutely no idea what I look like, but I can guarantee you this is not my best angle. I'd look better if I set myself up over there, but my neighbors are over there and I don't want them to see me, right? So in reality, my own vanity is actually making me unattractive, but that's okay, because that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here for. I can't see myself, so I don't really know if I'm like over showing. Life's crazy. We're having a day. I've had a long ass week. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've had a long ass week. I mean, I figured it was gonna be intense with like the upcoming Scorpio moon and all of that, but I had absolutely no idea I was gonna go through like a severe ego death and like initiation and like all this stuff that like I didn't even really know was gonna happen. Like I kind of already thought it happened, but it didn't. But it happened this week, and it hit me. It hit me like a hurricane, rocked me like a hurricane, like a friggin' 80s song. And so all week my energy has been zapped, and I've noticed that with a lot of just people in general, but in particular like light workers, and I feel like everyone in general is feeling a lot of the kind of pressure right now between like Scorpio coming up and the retrograde and the corona. It's just like, you know, it's like a little bit of like a pressure cooker. I feel like everybody's going through the pressure cooker right now, but that's good, right? Because pressure creates diamonds, right? So I got up today and I was feeling like a whole lot better. I got like a really good, like amazing download after like some really heavy stuff I had to like deal with, and I felt so good. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, it's May 2nd, I'm gonna work on the element of design readings. Super fun. So I went upstairs and I did the fire sign one, and I was like, cool. And then I went to upload it. Everything was good. And then I started to do the earth sign video. Then I got a phone call from my friend, which, you know, needed to be taken. So I did that. And then I was like, oh, I'll run to the store because I have to get that out of the way for the day. My big outing for the week, right? So then I came home, and then it was so nice out, I was like, I'll do the video outside, right? So I come to do the video outside. My neighbors are all over there, and like there's an open part of their fence, so they were just kind of staring at me. I had all these decks of cards. I look crazy to them. We don't talk. I was just like, fuck it. Okay, so I'm gonna go inside. So I went inside to do it, and then I was like, why did you could have just told me that you wanted me to do this reading in the basement. Like, you didn't have to send me on this wild goose chase, Spirit. Like, I don't understand. And I'm sitting there and I'm setting up to do the earth sign video, and the camera's falling, and it's just like everything, it's like Calamity Jane. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then I look at the fire sign that I'm uploading, and it's like failed to upload, like edit error. And I was like, well, do you not want me to film the element and design video? Like, I thought we talked about this. Like, we said that we were gonna do them, we were gonna scale them down, but like we were gonna still incorporate them in the mix with the weekly. Like, what? Like, you just changing up on me, Spirit. Okay, like, all right, what the hell? Like, what do you want me to? And I knew that they kind of wanted me to do this, like this video, or they wanted me to start doing more like talky kind of videos, which is not really what I want to do, honestly, but they want me to share more, be more vulnerable with everyone about my process and my journey. And I understand why. It makes sense. It makes absolute sense to me. It's just not something that I really want to do. Like, and so I like gotten like a little bit of a I wouldn't say a pissing match, because like that's not a match you win, but I was getting a little frustrated with Spirit, you know, which I also think is like not something that people talk about, is getting like mad with Spirit sometimes. You know, everybody's like, you know, you just have to release control and just, you know, listen to your guides, and like it's super cool, man, you know, like, yeah, but also no, like, what are you doing? Why do you have me doing this? I'm so confused. Just tell me what you want and I'll just do it. Why do we gotta go on this whole wild goose chase? Like, I was like, why do you want me to tell them like these things, like these horrible things that happened to me that like I just worked through and I just purged? I just went through a whole ego death. It's like crazy. I just took a boat to Hades single-handedly and I came back. Oh, the devil knows me by fucking name now. It's crazy. I got an easy pass. If you guys need help getting out, let me know. I got miles. I get why, but I just don't want to do it because it makes me feel vulnerable. But that's the point. That's like my challenge now. It's like, be vulnerable, share your story. Like, you gotta open up more, connect with people. I'm like, all right, fine. And I was like, obviously that element design, I was like, I'm not getting any element by design videos up until I do this video. Obviously, that's been made very clear to me. So here we are. It is hot. I can't see you. I'm sweating. This Gatorade's not quenching my thirst, but the birds are so nice. And there's this butterfly that keeps flying around, and that soothes my soul. Oh, so I got a channeled message. This is the whole point. See, look, they just want me to like, I'm sorry, just drifting off in time and stare. The birds, they get me every time. So yeah, so I was inside having a hissy fit with spirit, which like I said, people don't talk about. They're always like, just work with your guides. Like, sometimes I yell at my guides. Sometimes I get really mad. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't even know your name. You don't even tell me your name. And you just tell me what to do all the time. It sucks. It's a blessing, but like, nobody talks about, like, it's frustrating. It really is sometimes. But I was in the process of doing that. And I got like a channeled song. I got Learning to Fly. Learning to Fly, yeah. By the Foo Fighters. Looking at the sky to save me. And I was like, damn, I was like, holy shit. I was like, okay. So then I sat down and I listened to that song and I was like, wow. I was like, that's actually a huge download. That's why they told me to stop fucking around with the element by design readings and like, pay attention, bitch. I was like, I'm sorry I yelled at you. Now I'll listen now. And I was looking at the lyrics of it and it's just crazy. Like, at the beginning of the song, it goes up, run and tell all of the angels. This could last all night. I think I need a devil to help me get things right. Which was like a mind bomb for me. I was like, wow, because that's really like how you do your shadow work, right? That's kind of when you go through your ego death, or you do any kind of like lower level, I'm dealing with my shit kind of work. You kind of you have to do it like as your shadow. It's not like you meet up with your shadow. You have to be your shadow, right? To really understand all of the parts of it, to break it down, rewire it, make it work as like an integrated part of a whole. So that way you're not just like self-sabotaging or just like doing things and not really knowing why you're doing them. But that was a little crazy for me. I was like, wow, like, because people really push that side off. You know, everybody wants to be like a good person. Everybody wants to be a good guy, right? Nobody wants to be the asshole. But like, sometimes you are the asshole. Sometimes I'm the asshole. That sucks. That sucks for me. I'm like A-type personality, like teacher's pet kind of lady. So like, you know, for over the course of like a year and a half, I was like, oh wow, I see so many times in my life and I was an asshole. And then you go through like ascensions, or you just kind of grow up as a person, and then you kind of look back on those things and then you realize like a whole other level in which you were an asshole. And then you're like, oh shit, now I gotta deal with that. You know, everybody wants to be the good guy, but when you push off all the times that you're not, or you haven't been, it like totally negates so much of your process of healing, so much of your process of integration. You know, it's almost like for me, like I used to be the kind of person that like I would overextend myself a lot to other people, like doing just favors or just doing nice stuff, or making myself like available when like maybe I didn't have the time, or maybe I didn't have the energy, or just like I just didn't have it in me, like whatever it was. But I would overextend myself because there was something inside of me that like was ashamed of the fact that like I wasn't a perfect person and like a perfect package, right? Like that I make mistakes and that I've fucked up 1,000 times, and you know, like I've started things and not finished them, and I haven't always walked in my highest of self. Like I've let my shadow run the show for years at times, like, and so to overcompensate for that, I would like go out of my way or overextend myself to do favors or do nice things for people, so that way like they thought I was a good person, or everybody thought I was like a nice girl, you know what I mean? It's like almost like prepaying for someone's like opinion of you, right? Because I was like, well, they think I'm a nice girl, they think I'm a good person, then I'm a good person, right? Because I needed other people to validate my worth, whether or not I was good. And like, what is good? What is good? What is good enough? For me, it's well enough. Are you well enough? That's a bug, all God's creatures, but please get away from me. Thank you so much. Are you well enough? Because for me, that's like what this whole thing's about. Like, that's how I came back to spirituality. That's how I came back to God. That's how I came back to tarot, back to YouTube. Guess who's back? I found it in my shadow. Like, I found it in a hole. I found it in a dark place, like a Rihanna song, you know? And that helped me accept the fact that I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to overcompensate for my bad self-esteem by going out of my way to prove to people that I was a good person when they weren't even asking to begin with. Like, that totally takes away from my process of growing and healing. And I assume it takes away from everybody else's, otherwise they wouldn't have me on here just jabbering about it, right? I suppose. I just sit out here and I think a lot about all kinds of things. All kinds of things, all the little parts. And so many times I feel like I'm missing pieces, I'm missing parts. That can't just be me. That has to be a lot of people. They're like, there's just gotta be, like, there's just that one thing I'm not getting, and if I just knew it, everything would make sense. All the pieces would come together. But it never really works that way. You never get like that whole piece. You just get like a little piece, and it's kind of like Nancy Drew. You gotta string it together like popcorn on Christmas. Damn, it's hot out here. But it is nice. But it is nice. I'm gonna keep talking about this channel message, I'm sorry. They didn't really give me a direction. I don't know if this is my like passive aggressive teenage angsty way of like getting back in spirit. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna lollygag through this video. They're like, enjoy 11:44 as I said that. Yep. They're like, enjoy yourself. Time is fluid, baby. We got eons. So joke's on you. That song was crazy though. Learn to fly. And then, you know, I was thinking about it. I'd have to like make myself more like vulnerable and open up more about my process, because I don't think that people do that a lot, especially on YouTube. Like, you see people and they post their videos and everybody seems like they've got it all together. Like, you know, it's like these sultry tarot girls that are telling you your future to just like release your self-esteem. I'm like, who are you, bitch? How'd you get so perfect? Why are you so sultry like that? I don't understand. Or it's like these people, and they just seem like they have so much experience, and you're like, wow, like you really understand how the moon and the stars work, and I just don't. I just realized I was a part of it not that long ago. So like, all right, I think that's how people give up a lot of their personal power, because they just assume these other people like just have it so much more figured out than they do, right? And that's how you end up applying every single reading to yourself that doesn't apply to you. That's how you end up driving yourself crazy. Yes, it is. Looking too far externally out for answers, right? Because there is a balance there, because we can learn from others. That's how we do it. And that was the whole thing with the learning to fly. And I'm sitting out here and I'm like, I get it. Like, learn to fly, like, you know, looking in the sky to save me, like looking for answers, looking because I'm tired of trying, like, because it's not working and I got to do something new. And I'm like, but what else is the message there? Because like, we've heard that song and dance before. It's like, it's always something simple. Whenever there's like a big grand question that I have, or like that's get thrown upon me, the answer is always very simple, which is very annoying for me, because I am not a simple person. I'm a very complicated person. And so I like complicated things, I suppose, you know. So it's like, if there's a question or there's a problem, I always try and come up with the most elaborate, complicated, roundabout way of like figuring it out, when it's just like, oh, just do this. And it's like, oh, duh, I could have just done that. Like, but it doesn't. I always gotta take the long way around. It's just my way. So, but now when there's like an issue or a problem or something I'm trying to like figure out, I always immediately go, I'm like, okay, so what's the simplest thing? It's right in front of me. I can't see it, but it's gotta be right in front of me. So I'm like, learning to fly. And I'm sitting out here for a little while before I started this song and dance. And there's this bird, and it sits on this branch in front of me, and it's just chirping, and it's chirping, and it's chirping. And I know it's Source trying to tell me something. So I'm like, what is it? And I'm thinking, learning to fly. I'm like, how do we learn to fly? And I'm looking at this bird just walking. And then another bird flies up to it and flies right past. And then that bird just gets up and flies right along with it. And I was like, from others. Duh. Like, that's how you learn to fly. Learn to fly from others. Like, monkey see, monkey do. Like, that's, oh God. I was like, it took me fucking an hour and a half to figure that out. I can't stand myself. God. But it's so simple, right? It's so simple, stupid. You learn to fly by others. It's almost like in Batman when he's like stuck in that cave or whatever, you know, and he has to keep like climbing up to the top and everybody's like, you can't escape, nobody can do it, and he doesn't, and he falls and he hurts himself and he has to heal, but he goes up and he falls and he hurts himself, but eventually he does it so many times, he's so resilient, just his pure willpower, you know. It's like just that faith that you're gonna get to the top, and he does. And it doesn't mean that anybody else in there had to try, had to even think twice about it, but it's just, you know, you could show him better than you could tell him. It can be done. It doesn't matter. This is your PSA. It doesn't matter how broken you think you are, how many mistakes you have made, how much carnage you have ensued in your personal life to yourself. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. It doesn't. And you know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because you're still worth another chance. You can get better. I promise. You can heal. It'll take a long time. It takes a lot of work. It is not an overnight process. It is not a weekend yoga retreat. It is like figuring out what's wrong with you and treating it like pest control, right? It's like, how do you get like a mouse out of a house, or something? You know, it's like you have to corner it from all sides. You have to hit it from every angle, spiritually, emotionally, physically, however it is, you know? It's like depression. Go to therapy, go to God, go for a run, go to yourself, take a bubble bath, go to your friends, go dance, go scream in the woods, go kickboxing, go, you know, it's like you, whatever the problem is, and we all have them, and we all have many of them. When you decide to take that on, you know, you gotta corner it from every aspect. Thank you. You have to corner it from every aspect. Yep. You gotta hit it where it hurts. No surrender. And you gotta work on that and focus on that, and then let that heal. And then you can work on to the next thing. Or maybe take a break. Enjoy the fruits of your labor of working hard on yourself to heal. Exactly where you are, because you will never be a finished product. I promise you that. You will never be perfect. You were not intended to be. You were not intended to try to be perfect. I should re-say, because you are already perfect, just the way you are. Because who says that you're not? Who says that you're not? It doesn't matter how fucked up you think you are, because you're still worthy, and you can still do it. And I believe in you. I thought I was a lost cause. I think a lot of people thought I was too for a little while. But we showed them. Yes, we did. Most importantly, we showed ourselves. There's another side. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. But the grass is greener where you water it, right? You gotta water your own grass, my babies. I pulled this tarot deck out, and I didn't use it. I was just shuffling it before, and I had 2 cards that came out. And for me, oh, look at that. Flip it and reverse it, Missy Elliott style. Holler at your girl. All right, that's fine. And I had these 2 cards come out. First, we got Abracadabra. This is out of the, what is this called? The Oracle of Mystical Moments. The Oracle of Mystical Moments. We got the Abracadabra card. This is card 34, right? 34, that breaks down to a 7. And then we got, here we go. Flip it and reverse it again. Maybe they don't want me to talk about these tarot cards. That might be it. Flower Spirit, number 10. So the main gist I got out of these cards, this is a card about alchemy. It's a card about magic. It's a card about manifestation and kind of building your own destiny, right? And then Flower Spirit, this is a card about friendship. It's about community, right? It's about being vulnerable, allowing yourself to be vulnerable to not only give nurturing, but also accept nurturing for others to, that's a whole thing. There's a whole thing in there, right? Holy shit. This is about, you kind of maybe seeing people, maybe like me, and me seeing other people that are further along in their spiritual journey and kind of seeing them as mentors, or it's just not even mentors, just as somebody that's that they did it before me. They walked down the road and I know that they can get to the other side. There is hope. There's hope. I have so many people that I look up to that's It's like out of control. It's out of control in this community how many like quality people there are, truly. But something that I noticed in these cards, which I'll get to quickly because I feel like they don't want me to spend a lot of time on this. 34 breaks down to a 7, right? So I think like 7 is, for me, is an energy of deciding where to put energy, right? Where to place these stars, where to manifest, where to build, how to build, right? Because after that is like, say, like the 8 of Pentacles, right? An 8 is very much of like a student energy. You know, 7 is kind of like deciding where to put that energy, and then 8 is really like implementing it for me as a reader and as a person on this planet at this current time, right? So it's like you have 34 breaks down to a 7 with that makes 8. It's progression. So for me, it was all about how a lot of us are progressing, and I keep seeing it in a lot of these readings for the collective, people taking on, you know, if you were the teacher, now you're going to be the student. If you were like the student in the old karmic cycle, in this new karmic cycle, you're probably going to be like more of a teacher. See, I didn't even know that happened. This is going to be so fun. I hope nobody gets motion sickness. I'm so sorry. I'm very hot and unhappy about this too, if it makes you feel any better. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I'm so very grateful to do this. It is very hot though. But what I downloaded and got is that we are all going to be both. We are going to be teachers, and we are also going to be students. Areas in which you have really been working on, in whatever area of your life or yourself that is, you're now you're being required to step up and allow yourself to be open and vulnerable enough to let other people see that process. Because you learn to fly by seeing others. You're like, okay, so they stuck their little claws out, and we stick out my little wings, and I kind of catch the wind, and you know, they fell, but okay, they got back up, and it can be done. If that little chick can do it, I can do it too, right? But there's also going to be this element in other areas of our lives where we are going to be required to kind of sit back down and learn from others, and to take in information and process it and grow and evolve in ways that we, you know, didn't really expect. You know, this energy, when the card's facing me, she's facing to the left-hand side, which is your feminine side. That's your receiving side, taking in that information, right? Taking in that wisdom, other people's stories, other people's experiences, how it grew them, because it might not be the way that like you did it, right? Like how I got here and how I'm going to get where I'm going to go, and my personal mission on this planet, you know, isn't necessarily the way that you're going to get where you're meant to be. But it's just for you to know that like you can do something different, you can try something different, and you can find, oh God's creatures, you can find success in that, right? And then on this side, when she's facing me, she's facing to my right hand side, so that's the masculine side, so that's the output side, right? So we all are going to be required to not only learn to fly, but to teach others to fly too. Where we are strong, those are the areas that we are to share, and the areas we need growth, we need to allow ourselves to accept help from other people when and where we need it, right? And to not be scared of that, because in that is growth. You are the student and you are the teacher. We are all doing both right now together, because we're coming together, that yin and yang energy, that black and white, that balance, right? We need both. So here we are, teachers, students, flipping phones, sweating our butt off in the yard. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you guys so much. I don't know if I'm going to post the element in design readings. I guess I'm going to talk to them about it later and see if they want. I did the fire signs, but I'm going to say they might want me to not do them and do this kind of talky stuff instead. I guess they think it's good. I'm not sure I agree, but you know, I'm not the producer of this show. I'm the actor. I'm not the producer. It's a big man upstairs. But until then, thank you very much for having me. It has been a pleasure and a joy. It's been a heat wave, baby. I will see you next time. Maybe for the element design readings. If not, I'll see you for your weeklies. All right. Goodbye. Goodbye.